Welcome back to this week 12 edition of This Cat Can Ball. It's a bit of a late show for the week, but week 12 was a long week in the NFL. As a matter of fact, it lasted up until the 7th day. Started last Thursday on Thanksgiving and finished up Wednesday night just now with the Ravens and Steelers, which was supposed to be the headline of Thanksgiving. Anyways, the point of this show is to be finding that diamond in the rough, that unknown player that's going to show up out of nowhere and prove that
you never judge a book by its cover.
We've had a trend going on that it's been a different position each week. We started off with a kicker, a backup quarterback. This week, it's actually a defensive lineman, which is pretty rare considering that they can be outstanding players and not really show off that much because they don't hit that stat column very hard, right? But the player we chose, and it was a little bit easy this week because his impact was pretty big stat-wise for defensive linemen and overall in the game. We have chosen for the winner here at the CSN, Jacob Tuyati-Mariner, number 91 defensive tackle for the Atlanta Falcons. A little bit about this guy. He was undrafted in 2018 out of UCLA, and much like PJ Walker last week, he spent time as a reserve player on the practice squad, eventually working up to being a backup, and then getting his chance to shine this past Sunday against the Oakland Raiders, and he didn't waste that opportunity. He showed up in grand style. Now, leading up to Sunday, he only had 18 games that he played in the league for a total of 25 tackles, which is pretty minuscule. Again, defensive linemen aren't very big in the stat category. He finished off with 5 total tackles, which is really good, and he had 3 career firsts. He had his first quarterback sack, a forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. That's huge. Those are 2 turnovers that went for the entire team's favor, thanks to this man, Jacob Tuyati-Mariner. And he wasn't going up against just anybody. You might be thinking, well, maybe he was playing a bad team, a scrub quarterback. No, the Raiders are still in the playoff hunt. And the quarterback, Derek Carr, is a legitimate starter. And even for fantasy stats, Derek Carr is still really great. So, Mr. Tuyati-Mariner showed everybody that
This cat can ball, man.
and he did it in great style. That may be the winner for this week, and that may just kind of sum it up quick. But there is one person we have to give a big shout out to. And that man is number 2, the in case of emergency break glass quarterback for the Denver Broncos, Mr. Kendall Hinton. Now, this guy had a huge hill to climb due to COVID-19 protocols. 4 of the, I might have been 5 actually, Broncos quarterbacks were ineligible to play. I mean, they were down to, well, Mr. Kendall Hinton, who is a practice squad receiver. He's not a quarterback, he's a receiver. He played some quarterback in college, and truth be told, he wasn't even that good to hold on to his quarterback position in college. You know, so to get someone like this, it really reminds me of like when they asked Rocky to fight Creed.
Maybe I'll fight Apollo, maybe I won't, you know?
You know, they got a nobody going up against the world champion, and in this case, he was going up against the New Orleans Saints, who are a championship caliber team. But okay, a little bit about this guy. Just that's hard enough. But let's just talk about where he came from and his story. He's an undrafted rookie out of Wake Forest. Wake Forest isn't. First off, they're not really known for putting out many amazing football players. They're great at basketball. But he was recruited to go there as a quarterback, and he wasn't very good. He turned out to be a pretty decent slot receiver, but even then, he wasn't really looking to be an NFL prospect as a receiver, so he was just a practice squad player for the Broncos. All this against him, and like I said, we want to give him a big shout out, right? He has this huge chore, this huge task in front of him. How did he do? He did just about as well as you'd expect. He did terrible. He was 1 of 9, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, which means that he completed more passes to the other team. That's never a good thing. It really could be considered one of the worst quarterback performances in the history of the NFL. That does not take away from the fact that he went out there. There are plenty of players that would have just said, no, I'm not going out there. I'm not going to go out there and get slaughtered. He went out there and he took his chances. He did terribly, but he proved admirably, well, that he can ball, and he did at an NFL level. Now, before we just put him on a pedestal, I know there's going to be a lot of Uncle Ricos out there that are going to be saying, I could have done better, man.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin quarter mile.
And even in this situation, when you say he was 1 of 9, he completed more passes to the other team, there are some people that are sitting on their couch and I think I really could have done better. No, you couldn't have. It's really, really hard. I know what you're thinking of, little things like you could have done. Oh, I'll just throw it up really high for the tall tight end, right?
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
You know, whatever you were thinking, it was thought of, it was implemented and planned for, and put into the game strategy, and it still failed. You'll look at someone like Patrick Mahomes, he makes it look easy, right? You're like, well, I can throw a 15-yard pass just like that. I, myself, probably could throw a 15-yard pass, but no, you don't see all the work that went into it. We're looking at it through a filter. This is the NFL, and this is another topic for a discussion I'd like to have later. You don't realize how amazing you have to be the worst quarterback in the NFL. This guy, Kendall Hinton, Arena League, and Arena 2 indoor football, he is going to crush it. But against the NFL, he was amazing. The NFL is 10 times more amazing. So that's just one thing I would really like to acknowledge. Kendall Hinton, he deserves a little bit of spotlight and a little bit of attention for going out there and doing what most people couldn't. But to wrap up the week, this Cat Can Ball award goes to Jacob Tuyati Mariner, 91 defensive tackle of the Atlanta Falcons, and a huge shout out to Kendall Hinton, the emergency break glass quarterback for the Denver Broncos, who unfortunately right after the game he was relegated back to the practice squad. But oh well, he had his time in the spotlight. So that about wraps up the show for this week here on the CSN. I really hoped you liked it. If you did, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell an enemy. Be sure to tune in every week. I try to have this uploaded right as the week ends to keep you guys current. Also, if you'd like to check out Damn Hot Stuff, I'm going to be having a new challenge coming up where I believe it's white chocolate. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's white chocolate. But anyways, you can see me try the Pocky One Chip Challenge. Also, I have the Lil Nitro Gummy Bear Challenge. That one was a lot of fun. If you really liked what you saw, please consider hitting the like and subscribe to stay current to when these come out. My name is Omar, and I will see you next time.